So at the start of the movie, a boy tells us the story of his school through his comic book where 6 types of people study. First of all, he tells us about those kids who are neither good in studies nor in sports. Their lives are the worst. And then come the backbenchers. At least they have a little thrill in their lives. They make fun of others, but they still have fun in their lives. Then come the most likable kids. They are not interested in games at all, but they are number 8 in studies. And then comes a category of sports people who don't think of anything other than playing games all day. In every school match, in every competition, these people take part. And then in the next category, he made a comic of beautiful girls who cheered for all the games. And then at the very last and top comes the golden group. The group of people who are the most famous and talented in the school, in studying as well as in extra activities. And the leader of this group is Fame, who is the life of the school. Because no one has ever been able to beat him in studies or in any game. Now this comic boy, Peter, tells us about himself. He is the first boy in the category who is neither good in studies nor in games, and neither does he have the confidence to make fun of others. In short, his life is very boring. To make himself happy, he makes comics in which he considers himself a hero. And he draws his heroine to his school's most famous and most beautiful girl, because he has a crush on her. It is shown that Peter was very late in coming to school in the morning, and in such a mess, he kept his comic book instead of his homework. He realized this when his friend standing next to him in the assembly started cheating by copying his homework from his bag. Now he was scared because there was going to be a big mess. On that copy, he had written the name of his crush Shona instead of his own. As soon as the latecomers got free from this assembly, as soon as he went to class, there was a big blunder. He was afraid that the copy was in Shona's hands, because the one who distributed the homework copy read Shona's name and gave it to Shona. And now not only Shona, but her entire class read all the comic stories in this copy with Shona, which was very embarrassing for him. He had written his imagination in this, and a little incident that was going to happen tomorrow. When he went to the football ground to see Shona, Shona was playing football. Her skirt went up in the air, and she drew everything she saw. Not only this, but more than this. All this was read by the whole class. Shona was also very embarrassed. That's why she hits his comic book on his face. Peter feels so insulting that he hides in his washroom crying. After spending a lot of time in the washroom, his friend calls him and says, "Stop it, come out of the washroom, come out and see what's going on." By returning the photo of your book, he has been given a famous guide in the whole school. The poor guy comes back from embarrassment and comes and asks his friend, "How did Shona get that notebook?" So his friend tells him that May gave him that notebook after reading the name. Then he went to take revenge on his classmate May, who was in the washroom at this time. Now May also knew everything that had happened. That's why she gets scared looking at Peter. Peter scolds her a lot here, in response to which May was not saying anything. In anger, Peter wanted to grab her and pinch her, but as soon as Peter touched her, Peter got a strong electric shock and he fell back. She didn't understand what had happened to her at all. But yes, he knew so much that there was something wrong with May. He got so much electric shock just by touching her. May runs away from there in fear. And on the way, a photo of Fame fell from his bag. Seeing this, he understood that May likes Fame. Anyway, now he goes home. He had to take revenge from May. That's why today he makes a comic of May, in which he wrote that if someone touches May, May gives him such a strong electric shock that a person dies. By making such a comic, he came to school early in the morning and spread it all over the school. May, who came to school after reading it, is also shocked. The good thing was that Peter had not written May's name in it, because of which no one in his class knew that the electric girl about which Peter has written is actually May. Now May goes to Peter in trouble, because what he did it by mistake. And Peter was doing all this on purpose to take revenge from him. She tells him to stop all this, but then she sees that Peter has written another comic about her, which he was taking out from the print. He also wanted to spread it among everyone. Seeing this, May gets scared. Her heartbeat is fast, because of which her wristwatch also started beeping. Peter notices this, and when he goes to May to tell this, he gets another strong electric shock. He fell from a distance, and taking advantage of this, May picked up all the comics from here and went home and told his parents, "Just change my school now, because everyone in this school is going to know my truth. Because a boy knows about me and is after me. And by coming here, we get to know about May, about May's life." May had something different from her childhood. Whenever she was excited and her heartbeat went above 100, she would get a grip like this from her body. When the poor kids were small, whenever they went to a school, the children would get a shock like this. And she had to change that school. She had been changing schools like this since childhood. Even in excitement, if she touched any electronic appliance, she would also get sad. But even then, her parents tried to hide her truth from everyone, and also took advantage of her weakness. Her dad would make her run on a treadmill and charge her batteries. This way, her electricity bill would be saved. Anyway, the scene shifts to the present again, and we see that May has now taken her leaving form from school, because now she is going to leave school. But on the other hand, it is shown that Peter also took back the comics from all the kids that he had written about May. I was surprised to see this, and I asked him, "What are you doing?" In response, he says, "Who am I to tell everyone about your weakness? And to make it difficult for you. That's why I won't bother you anymore. And neither will I make a comic about you." Saying this, he burns all the comics. And in this fire, May also burns her leaving form. But as soon as she saw it, the fire got so big that it got stuck in the fence. Seeing this, Peter got scared. But May ran quickly and brought a fire extinguisher here, with which these people were successful in extinguishing the fire. May didn't know that a faraway frame was noticing her, and he gets impressed by her speed. Even the next day, he invited her to join his team. Hearing this, May got very excited, and her heartbeat got faster. In this way, a current could have come out of her body. That's why she ran away from here. On the other hand, Peter, who had gone to ask about Shona's health. Shona makes a lot of fun of him. She also throws his things in the dustbin. And the poor thing is sad and comes to May's house. It was like his life was over. He tells May, "Give me a current," and give it to May. But in this way, the current didn't come out of May's body. When he makes May very angry, May slaps him. There was a current in his slap which made him unconscious. When he came to his senses, he was on a stretcher, and 2 doctors were standing on it, who were talking about removing his kidneys. Hearing this, he got scared. But then he found out that these are May's parents, who are pranking her. And May tells him, "Stop it, Dad. Leave that poor guy." Anyway, now these people feed Peter. And as soon as they see, Peter and May become good friends. These people promise that they will help each other in everything. That's why Peter advised May to participate in the race with Prem, while May advised Peter that you go and help Shona, so that you can get into his eyes. Shona's problem was that he didn't do any shared leading for his team. That's why he goes to a class, giving the greed to do their homework. He convinces all the children to watch his game. In return, he has to make children's drawings. He has to write all the homework. In fact, he has to put plants instead of them, and has to clean up, in which May was supporting him completely. One day, he brings May home, and May sees very cute posters there, which he had made for Shona. She tells him, "Why don't you show this to Shona? If you show Shona that you have painted her in such a cute way, then she will definitely be impressed by you." But now Peter was afraid to show his comic or his painting. Anyway, the children also go to see Shona's DM, with which Shona is very happy. Even now she doesn't know that Peter is behind all this. On the other hand, May had also participated in the race. But this race was not an ordinary race. 4 people had to run in this race, in a way that the first round. After completing the first player, he has to give the rod in his hand to the second player, after which he will start running, and in the same way, the third and fourth. And then the team that will complete their round in the shortest time, she will win. Hearing this, May got scared, because running made her heart beat fast. And the current came out of her body. She decides that she will run in the end. But still there is a problem. While running, when she sees fame, then her heartbeat increases. A current is born in her. In this case, she does not hold the rod from the hand of fame. In fact, showing a lot of smartness, she does the drama of leaving that rod. And then she holds that rod while kicking with her arms. In this case, the rod was stuck on her nose, and blood was also coming out of her nose. But she didn't want to defeat fame. She runs very fast and makes her win this game. After this, these people were qualified for the final round. On the other hand, everyone was crazy about May's style. The way she held the rod. After winning this race, she was very happy. She came to the washroom and hugged May happily. And as soon as this happened, May felt something. A feeling that now she was a little more naked than May's friend, when he comes home and draws a comic. So today, he did not make Shona in his comic. In fact, today he drew May in his comic. He drew a comic as if May hugged him. While the next day in school, May tells Fame to go somewhere on Sunday. She was happy. She felt like she had invited him for a date. She also told this to Peter. But Peter was not happy to hear this, because he himself didn't like May. May didn't even know how to do makeup. Poor girl does makeup as if it's broken. And then she goes to that location with Peter, where Fame had called her. And when she came here, her heart broke. This was a ground where Fame had called her for running practice. On the other hand, Peter now sends all his comic books to Shona with a little girl dot. In all the comic books, he had drawn Shona very well. Now all the comic stories had reached Shona and she had read them. She liked all this very much. After reading this, she immediately went to Peter. Peter was surprised to see her. He thought Shona was impressed. That's why, without thinking, he says I love you to her dot, and the whole game turns from here. Shona gets angry with him. She says, I came to thank you. You described me very well in all these comics. Also liked it. And I also know that you had sent the kids for cheerleading that day. But that doesn't mean that I should marry you. I like Fame. Hearing this, her heart broke. It was raining on the ground now. That's why their practice stopped. Fame was standing so close to May that May's heartbeat started increasing. Now the current started flowing from her body. Because of the rain, Fame got cold. And poor May was very scared. She thought that Fame was dead. But at the right time, Peter came here. And Peter told her that Fame is just unconscious. He takes her away from here. And May was very sad when she went home. Because of her anger, there was still a current in her. In this case, when she touches the main switch, the fuse of her house is blown. In this case, Peter sits here to cheer her up. And he gives a new color to the reality that happened to him through his comics. He made a story in such a way that an electrical hero came to know all the truth about him. In this way, she was scared that the hero would leave her. But the hero told her that it doesn't matter to me that you have any shortcomings. I like you as you are. After reading Peter's comics, her mood was very good. And she forgot everything that was going to happen to her. Now May had known that it would be better if she told Fame the truth herself. The next day, she goes and tells him everything. That when her heart beats fast, a current comes out of her body. He was not ready to believe this. But here, May also gives him a demo. And she charged his phone and showed him. He was surprised to see this. And he was impressed with her. Because she told him all her truth. And now, finally, he proposes to her. And he says, you were my friend before. But will you be my girlfriend now? Hearing this, his happiness was not satisfied. He went to Sanipal and told Peter. Hearing this, Peter was broken from inside. He goes to his house. The next day was the final day of all the games, in which May had also participated. The whole school was gathered here today, except for Peter, because he was sad at home. He was sad to lose May. He starts smiling. He had an idea in his mind. Because of the idea, he went to school quickly. And went and stood with Fame. And he said to Fame, why do you become a big hero? Because Fame thought he was crazy. Fame didn't even know him. And he was talking like this. His race was going on. One of Fame's partner comes running to Fame completing his round. Fame quickly takes the rod from his hand. And continues the race. And Peter also keeps running with him. And at the end, he says to May, look at this notebook. I have made this whole notebook on you. Saying this, he doesn't know what happened. The current started coming out of his body. Now Fame came to him and he held the rod. And there was a strong current. Without bothering this, May took the rod in her hand and completed her round quickly. And finally, These people win the race. The happiness of winning the race was on one side, but the tension was on one side, that I was standing normal now. But how did the shock come out of my body? May was in all these thoughts. That's when Fame came to him. Fame said to him, "Look, I propose to you, but still your heartbeat didn't increase so fast. But when Peter only told you that he has written a comic book for you, so your heartbeat increased a lot. This means that you love Peter. And the feeling in your heart for me is just a crush. He says, the decision is in your hands. I love you. But if you choose Peter, I won't be sad at all." DKK was on the side, because now the announcement was about to start. All the winners were going to get prizes. After getting this, all of them had to hold hands and stand in a round. May goes to Peter and says to him, "Ask me a comic book. I want to know what you have written about me." As soon as he saw this, his excitement increased a lot. But now because he had to hold everyone's hand, that's why he starts saying math formulas to distract his mind. And at the same time, Peter also proposes to him, saying, "Will you add my name to your name?" As soon as he hears this, in just a second, his heartbeat increases so much that the current coming out of his body hits everyone here. Because everyone who held his hand got scared. And by showing this, the movie ends here. Thanks.